Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of January 25th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week begins with Venus moving into a new sign. Venus will move into the sign of Pisces. This is very much an energy of soulmates. This is an energy of believing in the dream, believing in the fairy tale, and wanting to be carried away. And this will be an energy actually that I spoke of for some of the signs out there for the month of February, for the February monthly horoscopes, because it is going to be as Venus moves into the sign of Pisces, not this week. However, next week, Venus will meet Neptune in the sky as February begins. And this is going to be a culmination, if you will, sort of a heightening of this energy of really believing that love can heal all. Now, of course, yes, it can, right? But so can reality as well. And I think that's going to be a big part of the lesson, especially considering that as soon as Venus moves into this new sign, moves into the sign of Pisces, moves into a conversation with Saturn. Now, astrologers call this type of conversation a square. And it is a conversation that says, be real. That's really what it comes down to. Believe in the dream, but let's be real. Before you can get to the dream, you have to look at where you are right now. And for some of us, it's going to be a bit of a bitter pill, but overall, it looks to be really empowering. Yes, for some people, it might not be the easiest thing to look at exactly where they are in love or where they are in money and where it is that the reality isn't matching the fantasy. But there's so much other really positive stuff happening in the sky that it does suggest whatever our reality is, we quickly understand how to empower ourselves, and we're better for actually looking at how things are right now. And in fact, what's really interesting, and I will be here to talk about it next week as well, but as I said, we are going to have Venus moving towards Neptune, and this is an energy we'll be feeling before the week is out. So it suggests that a little bit of a heightening as Venus moves into this new sign early in the week. Then there's a little bit of a reality check, but very quickly gives way to even greater inspiration and even greater belief that love can make miracles happen. Now, there is an understanding of romantic love, and then there's also the understanding of an elevated love, right? I like to talk about how Socrates understood Venus, Aphrodite. He understood it as celestial Aphrodite and earthly Aphrodite. And to me, this is the spectrum of what Venus represents. Well, we're going to get that full spectrum now this week and as we head into next week as well, asking us not only to enjoy what it is that Venus, the feelings of love, the feelings of being incarnated, really, of being a human being is what ultimately Venus asks us to do, asks us to enjoy this experience, and at the same time understand that there are a lot of ways to understand love and a lot of ways to understand beauty that go beyond the superficial and go beyond the immediate. These are all going to be lessons highlighted for us now and as we head into next week as well. What's also happening this week is Mercury is going to speak with Uranus. Mercury will speak with Uranus in the sky. Now, think back to what was happening right around the 14th of January. That is when Mercury and Uranus started this dance. And they're dancing back and forth in harmony. This is the second exact moment of their conversation. And the third will take place as March begins. And so when these two planets speak in this way, it really is, on the one hand, being honest with yourself, yes. It's about being clear. It's about honesty that lightens your load, that makes you feel like you could fly if you needed to, and whether that's literally fly as in take a plane, or whether that is fly in the sense of feeling that your spirit can soar. This is the type of conversation that's saying, okay, free yourself from the past, free yourself from burdens, empower yourself by getting clear on a level of mind and intellect. Have new ways of looking at things, have new ideas, get that fresh perspective. Now, this is something, because of the type of conversation, it is a harmonious conversation. But it's the type of conversation that astrologers call a sextile. And what that means is we have a certain amount of control. It isn't that everything feels like the blessings are just landing to us, but rather we can see where it is that we can create positive energy for ourselves, and we're motivated to take action. And so this to me is even better than if the blessing just landed in our laps, because it suggests to me that we are able to appreciate how we are being made better by participating in positive things coming about. And that's not the only positive thing happening this week. Mars will be speaking in harmony, the same type of conversation, but Mars will be speaking with Pluto. And I love this. I absolutely love this, because these two planets speak to change that works, getting to the core of an issue and transforming it from the inside out, understanding where the work needs to happen, not only to empower ourselves, but actually to create a change that's going to matter and that's going to last. So more than a few of us out there are going to be motivated to take the inspirations that come this week and translate it into something meaningful. It isn't just about, I want to feel stronger, I want to feel change, so, let's go off and run in circles. That's not this at all. It's about being strategic, it's about being perceptive, and it's about doing what's really going to work to create a substantial change in the bigger picture of your life and the lives to those that matter to you as well. Finally, towards the end of the week, we will have the Sun meet Mercury in the sky. The Sun will meet Mercury. I think that this is so wonderful. This happens quite a bit, actually, because Mercury is never more than 2 signs away from the Sun. And right now, Mercury is sort of dancing around the Sun as well, which Mercury does anyways. But when these two planets meet, it's a light bulb moment is really what happens. It's about heart and mind meeting as one, understanding on a level of mind what the heart has been feeling and wanting in the direction that the heart desires to go. So there's information coming in, clarity coming in, and it is as if, for some of us out there, it will feel as if the lights are being turned on in the best possible sense, not in a dramatic, wow, I didn't see that coming kind of sense. Rather, okay, a lot of this week has to do with creating positive energy for yourself by looking at what is and being inspired by what could be. And this is allowing heart to meet mind so that you can see the wider benefits of actually doing that work and believing and actually understanding on a level of mind how things can come together very much to your advantage, very much to our advantage as well. And that actually, for a lot of us, we sort of, especially in spiritual circles, we kind of look at what does it mean? What does it mean to be a spiritual person? Well, for some people, it means forget your body, we're living all in spirit. For others, it means sort of live in a very embodied kind of way, be absolutely present in the moment. And sometimes we have experiences where we can really kind of cut ourselves off from the emotions that we're feeling in favor of living in sort of a cerebral place. But both have their place. In fact, all have their place. It's part of a spiritual experience to actually listen to the wisdom of your body and at the same time understand that the mind has gifts of its own. Rationality, detachment, being able to consider other perspectives, being able to see and perceive things in a way that ultimately is of your own choosing. That is what the sky is promising us this week, which ultimately is one of the best forms of empowerment promised to us now. Well, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate your interactions, your connections, your comments, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and in the YouTube comments as well. I always try to acknowledge them, even if I can't always personally reply. I am reading you guys. I try to give you guys a thumbs up or something to acknowledge that I appreciate the positive energy you bring. So thank you so much for that. I also wanted to share that there are daily horoscopes on my site. They're getting amazing feedback from you guys, sort of a daily astrological update that's written by me in conjunction with Symbolic Living, the great people at Symbolic Living. Just absolutely love them, love their work. I've been working with them for a really long time now, really since the beginning of my sort of going into astrology full-time back in 2006. It was really by the encouragement of the people starting that site that has led me to where I am today, to have this very great opportunity and great blessing to have this moment with you. And so really excited about that, getting lots of great feedback from you guys, and I'm truly so grateful for that. So thank you. Love your feedback on that as well. So how all these wonderful celestial things taking place now speak to you, and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we've got your ruling planet Mars speaking in harmony with Pluto. I love this for you. This to me suggests that you are being empowered, you are understanding your direction, what it is that you want to do, and how it is that you're going to make change that lasts. Now, a lot of you out there, this information is going to reveal itself to you in your dreams. And so pay very close attention to what's happening on a level of dream space. Make sure you have your dream journal next to you, because it is in that space that I see some really great ideas coming forward on what you can change that'll make a big difference. And for some of you out there, you may even hit on a money-making idea that can end up really being something that creates a lot of wealth for you now and for a period to come as well. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we have your ruling planet Venus moving into a new sign, but then speaking with Saturn as well. Now, whatever happens with your ruling planet, she is your representative in the sky, is speaking to your experience on a more personal level than she might be to somebody else who wasn't so intimately connected with this planet. And so when I look at this speaks to me about a need for you to consider what is happening with you on a level of your connections. Are they actually feeding you? Are they empowering you? Are they lifting you or not? And again, you know, I gotta say, and I've been saying this, I know, but there is an element playing out here, I gotta admit, that has to do with friends and money. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of the connection between friends and money now. Not the time to go into any kind of investment deals or even take like stock market advice from friends this week anyways, right? There are times that it's really great to align with friends, other times not so much. And so this would be one of those times. Allow yourself to sort of transverse this week. And once we get to next week, if you feel like a little weird, if you feel like, oh, you don't know if you should say no, next week will give you lots of opportunity to sort of clear the air, if you will. But also it does look like whatever it is that you decide, whatever change or sort of request that is being made of you, it is by getting clear on what you feel comfortable with and living from that space that you end up empowering yourself most, not only in terms of your friendships and your money, but also in so many other ways and in so many other areas of life as well. It seems to have this sort of a far-reaching effect where you are able to get in touch with what you really feel, find a way to believe that you deserve to live it, and from there you feel much more empowered to make other changes and to trust your instincts in other more meaningful ways as well. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking with Uranus as part of a continued conversation. Both of these planets, conversation with Uranus, both of these planets in a very harmonious position to your sign. We've got this conversation speaking to good news, which is always good, but really friendships supporting you, supporting the vision of where you want to go, filling your life with hope, bringing clarity where maybe you feel a little bit confused, and also bringing an element here of new ideas, of fresh ideas as well. So if there ever was a time to talk, I mean, yours is the sign of talking. That's what your sign rules. And so if there ever was a time to talk, to share, to be yourself, quote unquote, in a very spontaneous way with somebody that you trust, or just friends, people that you run into, people that you're around, if you consider this person a friend, you get the opportunity to share, do it, because I think you're going to find that information finds you, that shows you what you could do to not only move your life in a positive direction, but this has much more with understanding what you're going to do now to manifest even greater things further down the road. So it could be a conversation that says to you, hey, why don't we go traveling together? And you go, you know what? That sounds right. Let's do that. Let's go on a trip. Or it could be a conversation that makes you aware that you want to change your major if you're in school, or you want to go back to school, or you want to learn a new language, or you want to learn about a new spiritual tradition or philosophy. It's these types of like very tangible ideas and plans forward that will ultimately put you and continue to move you actually on a path that will more fully reach fruition. and you'll gain the most from as you continue to explore this once we get you into the early part of March. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got all of this energy taking place with Venus in a very harmonious sign to you, and yet Venus is having kind of a tough conversation at the same time. And I look at this, and this says to me that you are looking at your work, what you're doing, and where it is that it is helping you or not helping you get where it is that you really want to go, where it is that a bigger, more inspiring vision is calling you. And so it does seem like there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect and yet uncertainty how to move forward. Well, I will say this. If you're one of those people who's seeking to find meaning in your work, find a sense of whether it's purpose or whether you want to call it spirituality or just even joy in your work, this week might be a little bit tough, okay? And especially when it comes to relations and interactions with coworkers, you just be sensitive and just be aware and just ensure that you are operating at your absolute ethical best. It is going to be next week, or at least as we get to the very end of this week and start next week, that much more inspired ideas are going to find you and you're going to understand what you could do. It's like faith is restored. However, just before we get you there, you are set to have a little bit of a very important reality check. As I said, your reality check is going to come in the realm of what's happening at work and where it matches your vision for your life. Where it is that that disconnect is large, you're going to get honest with yourself about what needs to change. Where it is that ultimately that disconnect is about something that's happening within you, you are also going to get that chance to reflect and look at who you are now and what it is that you need to change to further infuse a sense of purpose with what you do every day. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we are going to have your ruling planet, the Sun, meeting Mercury in the sky. And this is something that happens a couple of times a year, a few times a year, and isn't so unusual, but it does represent an important turning point for you whenever it is that it happens. And it represents a time when you are understanding who you really are on a level not only of what you feel, not only what's happening on a level of heart, but also understanding who you are on a level of mind as well, making it an especially important time. This time it is going to be love or partnership that leads you to that understanding. So it's either going to be another person, a conversation with another person that either you are in partnership with or interested in a partnership with. So it's going to be that helps you illuminate what's really happening with you on a level of emotions. What's really driving you? Why have you been doing what you've been doing? Well, it is as if a partner shines a light and shows you, gets clear with you, says, look, holds up a mirror, really is what this is, and says, look at how you're behaving, look at who you are. And this can be great, right? This can be you seeing yourself in a much more light, loving sense as well. However, it can also go the other way. Ultimately, this week does say truth time. So where it is that you've been admirable and haven't been giving yourself the credit for it, this is going to be a time when you do come to that deeper appreciation. But for others of you out there, where it is that you haven't been absolutely admirable, you're going to get to see that as well. It is also for a few Leos out there, it may be partnerships in terms of business partnerships that lead the way to this understanding as well. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got your ruling planet, Mercury, speaking as part of a continued conversation with Uranus, and also at the same time meeting the sun in the sky. Now, I look at this, and this suggests to me that in some respects, it is financially, you're going to be feeling very empowered, and especially where it comes to the work as well. So when I see this, it says to me that, okay, maybe work that you did in the past, you're getting paid for now, commissions are coming through, some type of payments or benefits long overdue may be coming through as well. But it is related to work and the work sphere and the work that you are doing. There's also a health-related connotation to this, so this can be a time when, if there are any health-related benefits that you've been hoping to get, this can be a time when you get some really good news as well. What I really find inspiring about this week for you is that there is this appreciation you're having that what you do in terms of the work that you offer has value. How it is that you're living your life day in and day out has value. Now, for some of you, if you're in an established sort of job, this approval, this affirmation is going to come within that sphere. For others of you, if you're self-employed, this is going to come from a client, very likely to hear some really, really positive feedback, maybe even get a gift from a previous client of yours as well. For others of you out there, this could just be you sort of looking at your life and what you're doing day in and day out and getting some positive affirmation for that. So if you're one of those people, maybe not so much about work, maybe you've been involved in sort of other things, other ways to pass your days and your time, this is going to be a time when you come to understand that what you're doing still has value and that you still have ideas of what you still want to do and that there's still a lot more for you to do as well. The big key word this week is ideas. And so cherish them when they come, because they certainly will lead you to use your days very well to create greater prosperity for yourself, certainly, but also greater fulfillment for yourself as well. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we have got your ruling planet moving into a new sign and speaking with Saturn. Now, what I find so interesting about this is Venus has been for much of this month in a part of the sky for you that ultimately is really harmonious, fellow air sign. And you've still got Mercury in there. So you've had Venus in this part of the sky, now moving into a new sign, your ruling planet, still got Mercury in there, dancing with Uranus as well. I look at this and it says to me that even if it feels like, you know, you were a little bit more in your element before, still, there are good things happening, good changes occurring, especially where it comes to whether it's love in a romantic sense or it is just partnerships and feeling that people are supporting your creative ideas. That's the kind of energy I'm seeing happen for you. Now, what I really like about this energy is that it does move beyond just sort of like what you want and sort of the love you want or the emotional state you want to experience with another person. And you start to consider the value that people are bringing to your life in terms of how are they expanding your perception? Can you talk to them? Are these people that you can actually share with? And I think you're going to find yourself very pleasantly surprised, getting some pretty good news for some Libras out there when they come to appreciate that. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that actually this person brings a lot in terms of helping me to understand things. So it isn't just this person understands me, but I am understanding more thanks to having this person in my life. For a lot of people out there, this is going to be sort of connected to love and romance. For some, a smaller percentage out there, this could be connected to your kid, where if you have a kid, if you spend time with a child or a lot of time with a child close to you, this can be also an understanding that comes in that perspective that, okay, wow, this person isn't just, this little person rather, isn't just about me feeling good and feeling love, but there's a level of understanding taking place here that helps me get clear about who I am and what I really want and what I really want to do. So lots of positive energy taking place there, whether it comes from love, whether it comes from children, and for some of you out there, whether it comes from somebody you trust in terms of business as well. Lots of creative energy floating around now, lots of insights happening as well, and lots of appreciating the value that other people bring to your experience. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have got such a special configuration playing out for you. And this is your ancient ruling planet, Mars, speaking in harmony with Pluto. I love this for you. Absolutely love this for you. When I looked at this, I thought of you immediately. I thought of Scorpios out there immediately. And I thought this represents such a wonderful turning point for you where it can feel like a lot of things are coming together very harmoniously in terms of who you are and what you really want and what you used to want and what you know you are going to want in the future. This is you really getting honest on a very deep level of where it is that you want change. Where do you want evolution? Where do you want transformation? And what is it that you have to do in order to get there? And there's an appreciation here of you moving beyond the superfluous and seeing through any kind of sort of light and magic show, if you will. So wherever it is that you've sort of allowed yourself to get caught up a little bit in what the appearances are, you are going to start getting to the substance. And when you get to the substance, that is when you are at your absolute best. And so, yes, there's that element of you seeing things more clearly, more perceptively. And this, I think, will especially play out in the realm, for some out there, in the realm of love. I mean, you do have Venus moving into the part of the sky for you that has to do with love. So when I see something like this, and you've already got Mars in there, this is setting you up for a very romantic few weeks ahead, and also passionate with Mars in there as well. But this is already sort of setting you up for that. But having said that, it isn't just about another person. It isn't just about you getting your flirt on, although I do think that's going to be the case for some Scorpios out there. This reaches much more to the core of you, where you're able to see some underlying deeper motivation that you've had. And once you understand that, you're able to much more consciously choose what it is that's going to propel you forward and what it is that you really want. This is, you know, I don't say this lightly, but this really is one of those times when you will show yourself that you have the power to consciously choose who you are by looking at where it is that you've been and who it is that you've been, deciding who it is that you most desire to be, and living in accordance to that standard. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got Venus reaching out to Saturn in your sign. So that is happening. Not the easiest vibration to deal with, but it, you know, ultimately when I look at this, this is about accepting where you are financially, where you are in love, but especially where it comes to an issue having to do with home is the best way that I can put it. So when I see something like this, I think about how sometimes maybe you want to move into a much more fabulous place, but you're looking at where you are right now, looking at how much that's actually feasible today. There could be that playing out. There could be renovations that you want to make, changes that you want to make to your living space, but wondering if it makes sense, or getting news that it's going to cost you a lot more than you originally had anticipated. So there seems to be a connection now between what you want on a level of where you live and what it is that is immediately accessible to you today, and recognizing the disconnect. Now, ultimately, you are going to get some good news once we get you into the early part of next week. So you can look forward to that, at least a way forward. And so also understand right now, we do have Mercury retrograde. So it's not always the best time to like sign contracts or buy and sell stuff. But having said that, I do want to say that this time does seem that there's a lot of promise, there's a lot of potential as well to be moving yourself in a positive direction. And ultimately that positive momentum is going to come from personal clarity, yes, but is also going to come from just appreciating what is ideal in the less than ideal, okay? For some of you out there, I'm going to say if you have a roommate, this could also be maybe things not going as harmoniously as you'd like with a roommate, or getting news that a roommate has to leave or somebody else has to come back. And there seems to be a little bit of tension around that, but a conversation will straighten that all out. There is so much value now in speaking, in talking, and sharing what it is that you really want. And I think you're going to find that that is really going to be the way that you're going to end up sort of creating an opportunity out of nowhere. So it could just be you sort of sharing where you are and what's less than ideal about your situation where you live with somebody, who then turns around and gives you an amazing tip of where you could go, or introduces you to somebody, or creates a situation where you actually can afford to be where it is that you want. So talk, details will still need to be ironed out. However, do talk about where you are and what it is that you want. You're going to find whatever it is that feels like you wish it was better can almost magically become so before the week is out. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got such an active sky speaking to what is happening with you on a level of as you're moving about your life and as you're moving about your world. And I think about how Venus now is moving into a very talkative part of the sky, it's part of the sky that has to do with messaging, exchanging conversations, and also deciphering words, okay? And so love is very much going to be related to communication now. Those of you who are open to meeting somebody new, this is going to be a lot of I'm just seeing like online activity, exchanging messages that make you wonder, what did that mean? Maybe getting a message that rubs you the wrong way, but then ultimately in the fullness of time, whether this week or next week, gets straightened out, if you will. But for others of you, if you're in an established bond, this is going to be needing to approach a difficult conversation and sort of bringing what isn't so obvious to words and to light. But here's the really great thing, is that you can find the absolute perfect words. In fact, the universe is very much supporting you, empowering yourself in this process, creating a conversation that has an almost magical transformative effect and allows you to more fully understand who you are, and that you actually have a lot more clout than you previously realized. So for a lot of you out there, this is going to play itself romantically, but for some of you out there, this is going to play itself out in realms that have more to do with what's happening in your life in terms of your finances, maybe the people that you interact with where it comes to your finances, or maybe just as you're going about your day, interacting with the people around you. The opportunity for you to more deeply understand will arise, and that seems to have a much more wide-ranging effect and creating really positive change in your life. If something doesn't feel so right, what's happening on a romantic sense, just dealing with things on other levels, dealing with things positively on your financial levels and the level of work will allow you to connect with an energy of strength, which in turn will allow you to bring that to transform and change wherever it is that you are in matters of heart into a place much more to your liking. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got Mercury in your sign speaking with your ruling planet Uranus. Now, this is part of an ongoing conversation. The first sort of exact peak moment in this conversation took place right in the middle of January, right around the 14th, depending on where you are on the planet. This week will represent another moment in this. The middle of the week will represent another moment of this. And then the third exact moment will occur at the very beginning of March. So these planets are dancing. Mercury in your sign, dancing with your ruling planet. This is so important for you. This is really you getting clear on your direction, what you want, where you're going, what is motivating you, getting clear on a level of words and mind, getting clear on what it is that you desire to express. What is your voice in this world? What is it that you have to say? All of that becomes that much more abundantly clear. You're able to let it flow that much more easily. And I think you're going to find that, you know, they say that Aquarius is a sign of brilliance, right? And the genius, sometimes the mad genius, yes, but sometimes it is sort of this very like elevated consciousness type of energy as well. And so it has that ability to just see clearly, to bring together sort of intuition and intellect to get a really accurate picture about not only what's happening now, but also what it is to come, and to make some really startling predictions as a result of bringing the two together. And you are going to have such an opportunity now, and you will find the best of you able to come forward now in some very quick and surprising moments. This is about you getting honest about what you really need. What do you need to be happy? What do you need to feel light? What do you need to feel like yourself? If you have been in that place recently where you have felt that that hasn't been so clear, especially now that Mercury is retrograde, maybe it isn't so clear, this week is going to provide you with some more information to help you understand. It is going to be beginning of March that the bigger changes start to happen for a few different reasons. One is the fact, as I spoke about in the monthly horoscopes for February, the fact that we are going to have a second new moon in your sign, and I'll talk about it more in the weekly horoscopes when we get there. But then also this conversation is so important and is part of this process of you making the most of this very special time as Mercury's moving around in your sign, speaking with Uranus, as we've got 2 new moons happening, one that's already happened last week and another one coming up in February. All of this is designed to get you honest with yourself about who you are and what you need and what it means to be you. What does that mean? When I say who you are, that can mean so many things, but it's another thing to embody it and live it. And that creates a certain sense of peace. Well, right now you're going to get a deep understanding, a very clear understanding of what needs to change in order for you to come to that greater level of peace and acceptance within yourself so that you feel like the best of you can come forward. And this is part of an extended process that is going to take you to the beginning of March, but it is during this time that a lot of things are changing. Even if you can't recognize it, a lot is changing very much to your advantage. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we have Venus moving into your sign. That's awesome, okay? Venus moving into any given sign, I think, is always good because Venus brings an element of charm, an element of joy, of pleasure, of believing that you deserve, of lessons that say, really allow yourself to receive love, is what Venus moving through your sign says. This is going to be especially key for you as Venus this week speaks with Saturn. This conversation is going to say, allow yourself to receive, whether it is inspiration, whether it is a pay raise or a bonus, or at least allow yourself to receive the understanding that you have something to contribute that's bigger than maybe previously you were allowing yourself. So this has to do with you recognizing more deeply what it is that you desire to achieve in the world, what it is that you already have, and where it is now that you've been blocking that flow to allow bigger and better to come into your life. So allow that sort of understanding to come about. It may, for some people out there, come about through feelings that are less than ideal. It may, for some Pisceans out there, come about by recognizing that actually there is a lot more you could be doing to experience greater prosperity, but in your own way, you've been kind of getting in your own way, feelings of unworthiness to really take that chance and to do what you know is going to help your life to move positively forward. This is an important part of the process of first recognizing where it is that you could be doing more, why it is that you haven't. These are important steps to get you to the place where you actually are taking some very inspired action. And so don't get caught up in the feeling of limitation, the feeling of wishing, the feeling that maybe where you are now is less than ideal than where you'd like to be. Instead, think about ultimately, and this is where the universe is taking you, to really infuse you with a sense of faith and a sense of purpose. In fact, for some of you, it may even be a sense of mission, that your life is certainly guided, and to experience a greater sense of achievement and purpose is certainly a part of that path. And this very moment is a part of revealing what that path requires and is a part of getting you ready for even bigger achievements coming up for you over the course of this coming year. I will stop there. Thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.